Okay, so to graph a quadratic from vertex form, I'm going to look at the fact that I have, from intercept form. This is going to give me actually the x-intercepts. So I'm just going to change this to a y. When I have this equation, I can find the x-intercepts really easily by putting in 0 for my y. So I'm going to make my 3-row table, and I'm going to put in 0 for my y, and that's going to give me my x-intercepts. So when I put in 0 for y, remember that when we have things that multiply together, at least one of them has to be 0. Now the 2 cannot be 0. -2 is just -2, it cannot equal 0. However, I can set x plus 3 equal to 0, and I can set x minus 1 equal to 0, just like when we solved by factoring. These are the same steps of solving by factoring, but now I will use them to graph. So I have that x could be -3 when y is 0, or x could be +1 when y is 0. So that's going to give me my two x-intercepts. So I'll go -3, 0, and +1, 0. And then I'll be able to go halfway in between these. So there's 4 units in between these, so 2 units away. Be able to go halfway in between those to graph my axis of symmetry at x equals -1. Remember, it is a vertical line, so the label should be the equation of a line. So now I know that my vertex has a x value of x equals -1. This middle part is going to be my vertex. And so now I have to say, well, what's the y value when I put -1 in for x? So instead of putting an x, I will put -1 in place of x. And now when I figure out what's in the parentheses, because I'm following the order of operations, these two numbers should be opposites of each other. And they should be how far away the axis of symmetry is from each of my x-intercepts. So then I have -2 times +2 times -2. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And a negative times a positive times a negative, I have 2 negatives, so that's a +8. And so my vertex is at -1, +8. So I'll zoom out a little so I can see it all. And then I will graph that. And then the last thing to do on here is going to be to draw my parabola, and then I will check, does it make sense with the a value that I found? I cannot get this thing to disappear. So the a value, if a is negative, remember that my parabola opens up, but here a is positive, so my parabola opens down, and my vertex is a maximum.